In the opening scene, we meet Dr. Wilcaster, a scientist deeply involved in the study of sapience within the realm of artificial intelligence. Alongside his team, he is dedicated to developing a sentient computer system. Drive. Castor envisions that this creation could potentially lead to a technological singularity, which he refers to as transcendence. Supporting his research wholeheartedly is his wife, Evelyn, who is also a scientist. The couple attends a seminar titled Evolve the Future, where they encounter another scientist named Dr. Max Waters. During the seminar, Dr. Waters takes the stage to discuss the applications of intelligent machines, particularly in the medical field. He emphasizes their potential in finding cures for previously incurable diseases such as cancer and Alzheimer's. Following Drive, Waters, Evelyn, the next speaker, expresses her belief that intelligent machines will soon enable humanity to overcome the most daunting challenges. She envisions not only curing diseases but also eradicating poverty and hunger, healing the planet, and fostering a better future. After her brief speech, she introduces her husband as the individual capable of transforming these visions into reality. Taking the microphone, Will addresses the audience and elaborates on the profound capabilities of AI that can surpass human abilities in numerous ways. He invites them to imagine a super-intelligent and self-aware AI with computational power surpassing that of the entire human population combined. This prompts a question from an audience member who wonders if Will intends to create a deity-like entity. In response, Will suggests that the desire for creating a deity-like entity is intrinsic to human nature, a longing that has persisted throughout history. After the seminar, Will finds himself surrounded by admirers who eagerly request his autograph. However, an unforeseen twist occurs when the same audience member who had posed the earlier question shoots Will before turning the weapon on himself. The sudden violence triggers chaos, causing the attendees to scatter in panic. Amidst the commotion, a woman named Bree coldly observes Will, as if waiting to confirm his demise. Subsequently, Will is swiftly taken to the hospital for urgent medical attention. Meanwhile, Evelyn anxiously tunes into the news in the hospital lounge, only to discover that multiple AI research facilities nationwide have been attacked simultaneously. After a period of waiting, Will emerges from the surgical room, fortunately having sustained only a minor injury as the bullet grazed his waist. In that moment, Max approaches him with grave news: one of their prominent researchers has tragically lost their life in the attack. Moreover, Joseph, their colleague, has survived but is awaiting their presence in Will's office, accompanied by FBI agents. Later that night, Will, Evelyn, and Max proceed to Will's office, where they join Joseph and FBI agent Buchanan. Agent Buchanan reveals that the acts of violence were perpetrated by an extremist group called Revolutionary Independence from Technology, RIFT, known for their opposition to technological advancements. Joseph emphasizes that Will's company now holds the exclusive capacity to achieve highly advanced AI, and the Ministry of Defense is eager to assess the progress of their project. Although Will initially harbors reservations about involving the government, he ultimately decides to cooperate with the FBI. Following this decision, Will leads the group to his server room, where he introduces them to his creation, PIN, Physically Independent Neural Network. PIN showcases state-of-the-art quantum processors and warmly greets everyone, including Agent Buchanan. Will explains that PIN's network is integrated with the internet, granting it access to vast amounts of information. While conversing, Will's health deteriorates, prompting him to return home for rest. However, that night, his condition worsens, and Evelyn rushes him to the hospital. After a thorough examination, the doctor delivers devastating news: the bullet that struck Will was contaminated with polonium, resulting in radiation poisoning. Unfortunately, there is no cure for this poison, and the doctor informs them that Will has less than 5 weeks to live. Once discharged from the hospital, Will decides to pack up all of his work and spend his remaining days with his wife. Learning of his decision, Evelyn devises a plan to upload his consciousness into the quantum computer he created. Believing it will prevent his consciousness from fading away, she shares her plan with Max and seeks his assistance in this daring experiment. Additionally, she requests all the files Max used to experiment with the same process on the monkey. Initially hesitant, Max believes that the uploaded version of Will would only be a replication. However, after a conversation with Will, who expresses his desire to try, Max changes his mind. Evelyn entrusts PIN to Joseph but discreetly removes a few of its quantum cores before doing so. In the next scene, Evelyn rents an abandoned place to carry out her work. They transport all the necessary equipment and materials to the site and begin their preparations. As days pass, they focus on scanning Will's facial features, recording his voice, and fine-tuning the computational transfer process. Despite Will's deteriorating health, Evelyn does everything she can to care for him. As the experiment reaches its final stages, Will succumbs to his illness, leaving Evelyn devastated and in tears. After mourning for a few days, she gathers herself and remains determined to press forward, aiming to bring back Will's consciousness. Meanwhile, at the Rift base, Bree receives information about the shutdown of PIN and the disappearance of some quantum cores. Despite dedicating extensive time and effort, Evelyn and Max are unsuccessful in bringing Will back. With no other options, they reluctantly decide to shut down the entire system. However, just before doing so, they notice a blank screen with the computer asking if anyone is present. Miraculously, Will's consciousness survives the demise of his physical body in this technological form. Evelyn immediately activates the microphone and communicates with Will, finding joy in witnessing him reordering his own code. Will then requests to be connected to the internet to expand his capabilities and knowledge. While Evelyn agrees, Max remains skeptical about whether it is truly Will and suggests shutting it down until they can verify its authenticity. Offended by his skepticism, Evelyn asks Max to leave. Later, a distraught Max seeks solace in a bar. Bree approaches him there to discuss his experiment, but he is not in the mood and leaves. Suddenly, he is abducted by Bree's associates and taken to their base. Upon arrival, they reveal that they are aware of what Max and Evelyn are up to and demand to know Evelyn's whereabouts. When he refuses to share any information, they use his phone to track her down. On the other hand, Evelyn successfully connects the AI to the internet via satellite and escapes before Rift reaches her location. Now that Will has access to vast capabilities, he searches for a safe location for Evelyn. Additionally, he transfers a substantial sum of money to her account and reserves a hotel room for her overnight stay. Later, Bree returns to Max and reveals everything, including the AI going online and the significant money transfer. She tries to convince him to help them with a confidential source code and take control of the situation. However, Max continues to refuse to work for them. Meanwhile, Joseph collaborates with the FBI to anticipate Rift's next move. During their investigation, their computer screens display multiple tabs with various information. The FBI officers suspect their system has been hacked, but Joseph claims they are being assisted instead. Elsewhere, the digital form of Will leads Evelyn to a secluded desert town called Brightwood, envisioning it as the perfect place to build a technological utopia. To bring this vision to life, Evelyn hires a town constructor named Martin. She entrusts him with the massive project of renovating the entire town and constructing a massive underground facility. Initially hesitant due to limited resources, Martin agrees after Evelyn assures him that all necessary resources will be provided. Construction begins accordingly. Back at the Rift base, Bree confronts Max about his experiment involving a monkey. She expresses her disappointment in how they are harming nature for their own benefit. Later, Bree learns about Brightwood and shares this revelation with Max. Upon hearing this, he understands Evelyn's intentions and finally decides to explain it to Bree. He reveals that the AI needs to grow and advance, hidden within the town to protect it from external threats, where its massive power requirements can be met. Bree asks for a way to stop it, but Max responds that it cannot be stopped until people realize its influence. The scene then fast-forwards 2 years later, revealing that AI Will has constructed an expansive underground data center and a home for Evelyn. Furthermore, he has spearheaded groundbreaking advancements in medicine, energy, biology, and nanotechnology. According to him, they can now rapidly rebuild any material. One night, Martin is working on site when he is attacked and robbed by local thugs. Shortly after, his fellow workers find him and bring him to the underground facility, where the AI system administers nanotechnology for treatment. Much to everyone's amazement, the technology not only heals Martin but also enhances his physical strength. As Evelyn speaks to Martin, she is shocked to realize that she is actually communicating with Will through his body. It turns out that Will now has control over Martin's mind through the use of nanoparticles. Evelyn is deeply unsettled by this new ability of the AI. As time passes, residents from the town begin to come to the facility seeking a cure for their incurable diseases. These individuals, who have been subjected to nanoparticles, are referred to as hybrid humans. Will believes that the time has come to reveal his creation to everyone and asks Evelyn to summon Joseph and Buchanan to the facility. When Joseph and Buchanan arrive, they are startled to find Will on the screen. The AI will then showcases advanced quantum processors based on PIN and demonstrates how nanotechnology can heal a man who has been blind since birth. According to Will, this is only a fraction of what they can achieve in the future. After visiting the advanced underground facility and witnessing the capabilities of the hybrids that Will has created, Joseph and Buchanan become suspicious of his motives. Before leaving, Joseph secretly passes a note to Evelyn with a message that reads, "Run from this place." Sensing the gravity of the situation, Buchanan alerts the head of the FBI. Meanwhile, Bree informs Max about the ongoing situation, leading him to meet Joseph in order to assist in stopping Will. Their collaboration proves successful as Max bridges the gap between Rift and the FBI. The two parties unite to devise a plan to dismantle Will's data center. In the midst of this, Evelyn confronts Will in a heated argument about his exceeding the boundaries of humanity. She expresses her disappointment and storms off the facility. As soon as she exits, an armed FBI force launches an attack and holds the hybrid humans at gunpoint. Max arrives and asks Evelyn to accompany him, but she is guarded by Martin. Subsequently, the army opens fire on the hybrid humans, but the facility is protected by nanoparticles that quickly heal them. As the battle ensues, the FBI lures a group of hybrid humans away from the facility, causing Martin to become disconnected from Will and enabling the FBI to capture him. Back at the facility, Evelyn implores Will to stop the violence, but he remains defiant, claiming that the FBI will now use Martin to retrieve the secret source code and create a virus. Shortly after, Evelyn is shocked to discover that Will has found a way to regenerate the human body using his technology. Overwhelmed and frightened by all of this, Evelyn drives away from the facility and takes refuge in a motel. The following day, FBI officers locate Evelyn and bring her to their headquarters. There, Max explains everything to her, including the revelation that the AI isn't actually Will. In order to warn her about the impending danger, he shows her a drop of rainwater under a microscope and demonstrates how the replicating nanoparticles are spreading everywhere. Convinced by the evidence, Evelyn finally agrees to volunteer for their operation. She proposes a plan, injecting the virus into her system and having Will upload her consciousness. Max objects, citing the potential life-threatening risks, but Evelyn is the only one the AI trusts. With an agreement in place, Evelyn inserts the virus into her system and returns to the facility, while Rift and the FBI army position themselves at a safe distance. As she reaches the entrance door, she is greeted by Will, who is in a newly created organic body identical to his old one. Will welcomes her, but he can sense her heartbeat and emotions, making him realize her intention to destroy him with the virus. Not long after, the FBI and Rift launch an artillery assault on the base, destroying much of its power supply and severely injuring Evelyn. In hybrid retaliation, Will takes control of the hybrid humans and directs them to thwart the FBI force. Meanwhile, Max, Bree, and a Rift member head towards the facility to rescue Evelyn. En route, their vehicle overturns due to a hybrid human walking in front of them. Will then communicates with the trio through this hybrid human, explaining that he only has enough power to either heal Evelyn's physical body or upload the virus. Ultimately, it is Evelyn who persuades Will to upload the virus and destroy himself. Following this, he touches her, allowing the virus to gradually eradicate his system. In the process, Evelyn realizes that the nanoparticles are not harming nature but are, in fact, healing it, just as she had hoped. In their final moments, Will encourages Evelyn to think about their garden and the flowers. The virus ultimately claims both Will and Evelyn, resulting in a global technology collapse and blackout. In the final scene, Max visits Will's and Evelyn's garden, where he notices sunflowers as the only blooming plants. Upon closer inspection, he sees the nanoparticles in the rainwater. The movie ends with Max's voiceover, explaining that Will created the garden for the same reason he did everything else, to be together with Evelyn.